You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you another Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir. So, the last place we left off, we were having a little bit of a meet and greet with everyone who's involved in the project. We got to meet Shinu Mami, we got to meet Oscar, and the wolf who hasn't introduced himself yet, and Lee. God, I keep forgetting how to say that name. Lee. Okay, I think it's Lee. Yep, okay. I'm going with Lee for now. But anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy. Let me entertain you, and let's jump right into it, shall we? Sorry, not all of us have the brains of a peanut and can be satisfied with flashing lights. Hey, that's a little... But I'm cut off this time by Oscar's laughing. He doesn't look upset with what was said at all. In fact, he's still got that massive smile on his face. He's not wrong. I do love a good light show. Reminds me I haven't been to a club in ages. The fox looks somewhat surprised by this. Not upset. In fact, he looks relieved. What's going on with him? Lily and Lee are looking at the two of them with a mixture of confusion and concern. Sorry, yesterday was a rough day, and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I don't mean anything by it. When I insult you, I mean I'm just a bit of an ass, and I say things without thinking. What? I think they're pretty funny. I don't mind. I wonder for a second if he's kidding, but then I remember just how insanely positive he is, and I don't even need to check his face to see if he's being genuine. I've heard worse. I glanced over to the possum with a furrow to my brow. The memory of his crestfallen ears after what Lucas said to him earlier is still fresh in my mind. He seems to notice my confused glare and looks back with his own confused expression before quickly shifting back to his calm, stoic expression. That was more out of shock. It was pretty sudden. I've been called much worse. His face is pretty neutral and hides his feelings well, but I can see the innards of his ears turning a darker shade of pink. I guess when you have such large ears, you can only hide so much. He's got such a scary appearance, but he doesn't feel threatening anymore. When you see someone blush, it's hard to be as scared of them as I used to be. The others look pretty confused at the comment, but before they get back into it, Lily barges back into the conversation. At this rate, we're going to be here all day with introductions. Lastly, we have our last member. He's... Lucas, right? The fox looks surprised at my guess. It's different to see him so shocked. The way his ears point straight up is kind of cute. How did you know that? Well, I kind of know everyone else's name now, so only Lucas is left for you. All of them were read out in class, and you're the only one left. Oh, right. He goes right back to pouting, now looking away from the group. He's definitely an interesting character. We, kind of sat next to each other, in class, I mean. I remember. Don't worry. You were pretty nosy. A grimace covers my face, contorting all my features. I really pushed my nose somewhere it didn't belong yesterday. I should have just left him alone. He seems to notice this, and his ears press flat against his head. Not the reaction I'd been expecting. Damn it. I'm sorry. You were just helping, and I bit off your head. You were just helping, and I bit off your head. Reaching his hands up, he grabs the tips of his ears and tugs them downwards, grip tight and length taut. It looks pretty painful. It's quiet, but I hear a pained whimper coming from the fox. Scratch that, it's definitely painful. No, it's fine. You were having a bad day and I was being intrusive. No, you weren't. You were fine. I was just being an asshole. Ha! You still are being an asshole, for reference. It sounds harsh, but his tone feels closer to a mom telling off his kid. Ugh, I know. He begins pulling on his ears harder, and it's too painful to watch. I can imagine them ripping at the base, and it's just such an unpleasant thought. I can't bear to watch it any longer. Without really thinking, I stand up and lunge over the table, grabbing his arms tightly and pushing them up. I'm expecting some resistance, but he's not giving me any. I'm expecting some resistance, but he's not giving me any. Okay, just repeated that line. He's staring down at me with a bewildered expression on his face, and all I can do for a few moments is stare back. You look like you were in pain. You should have probably stopped that. I don't let go of his hands, worried he might freak out or start pulling again. His expression still frozen in the same shocked look. You were hurting your ears, I mean. You were tugging on them pretty tight. You shouldn't do that, okay? He gives me a slow nod, the rest of his face frozen in a mixture of shock and total astonishment. I can see the skin flushing to a darker shade of red, visible through his dark fur. Oh, he's cute! He's blushing. With a nervous laugh, I release his hands. He looks down at his hands as if he's not sure what to do with them. It's odd to see him be so docile. You okay? Yeah, sorry, I just wasn't expecting that. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. You're fine. Thanks. No problem. Not just for that. Yesterday, too. You were trying to help, and honestly, it felt nice to have someone check in on me. The smile he gives me causes my ears to burn alongside the fox's, and now I'm hyper aware of how I'm laying across the table in a busy library. There's palpable silence amongst the group. I don't even look to see the others' reactions as I slide back into my chair. You look really cute when you blush, dude. I've snapped back to reality by the shameless comment the otter next to me just spouted. Maybe you should look more like that and less pouty. If it was anyone else, I would have assumed they were making fun of him, but there's always the sense of sincerity in his voice. Lucas seems to notice this too, his eyes wide as saucers, and he sits up straight. Wow, his entire body looks like it's prickling up, ears all the way to his tail. Suddenly, that high-strung image of him is shattered, and he slams his hand down on the desk loudly, causing Lily and myself to jump. So, what's this topic for the stupid shit? What? The project for the class, you know, the reason we're fucking wasting our time here. Surely you didn't forget that already. You're not that dense, right? He's getting aggressive again. Looks like he lashes out when he's embarrassed, too. It's a little cute, honestly. Hard to take seriously with that look on his face. Though, I could do without the massive attention-grabbing commotion. The whole study area got quiet and everyone's looking at us. Lucas notices too and whips his head around to the other tables, a fiery look in his eyes. What? Lucas yells out to the entire floor. Everyone continues to stare, and I feel myself begin to sweat under their gaze. It's not like the fox looks much better after that. His ears are twitching constantly, and his claws are digging into the table. Even Oscar falters at that, his smile shrinking down to just a small nervous smirk. I don't think things went as planned. Hey, man, I didn't mean anything but... A glare from the fox shuts Oscar up. It's a mixture of annoyance and a bit of fear. After a few seconds of silence, Lucas relents and sits back in his chair, though it looks more like he's trying to crush himself into it. I take back what I said about barely being able to see his blush before. Now it's like it's changing the fur color around his muzzle. It's so intense. His ears look like they've been painted red on the inside. Heavy mood weighs down on our group. It's hard to know where to even go after that. Maybe we should discuss the project. Everyone turns to face him like he's insane. He doesn't falter for a second. How about we do the thing we're supposed to work on? It's been an hour and we've done nothing. Right. Sorry. Things just got a bit out of hand. She sits up straighter and her hands are constantly moving as she talks. I don't think her gestures don't mean anything in particular. She's just very excitable from what I've gathered. It doesn't hurt to be enthusiastic, in fact. I think her enthusiasm is exactly what we need. So, what exactly is this group project on? You said some of us know. Did only some of us get the memo, or...? It's on the online guide to the class. Barely anyone checks it, though, so he's just going to go over it tomorrow, probably. I didn't get any kind of email about that. It's not emailed. There's a student database you can log into, which has a bunch of information for your classes on it, as well as your schedule and grades. Oh, that. I didn't know it had information for the classes themselves. Don't worry, most of us are freshmen here, so it's not expected that we'll know much about it. I'm a senior. Oscar sounds smug and leans back in his chair, swinging backwards on it. In fact, he's swinging back way too far. I'm about to stop him when I see he's supporting himself with his tail. I knew otter tails were strong, but I didn't think they were this strong. And you're taking a basic first-year class? Isn't that kind of sad? Yeah, I never did all my general classes, and this one seemed pretty fun. I thought we were gonna just be watching movies and shit, though. We're not in high school anymore. So the subject for the project? Lee sounds like he's actually getting annoyed at this point. It's not super obvious, but there's a frustrated sigh under his breath. Right, so since this class is about communication of information through media, we're doing a group project on presenting information about sensitive topics. He wants us to pick a tragic event from last year and do a tasteful presentation of what happened, the effects the media had on the event, and its perception by the public, and lastly, how the media could have handled it better. Sounds tedious. Also, should the university students really be judging whether or not the media could have handled the situation better? We're not exactly experienced. Even professionals could completely fail at their jobs sometimes. Now that's a little mean, ain't it? Everyone makes mistakes. No need to blow 'em up. No need to blow up at 'em, right? Right. Sorry, just that came out a little harsher than I intended. Wonder why she's saying that. That's interesting. Everything seems to make sense so far, though there's one thing I am curious about. So, why only from last year? It mentioned that anything older than that is no longer considered sensitive. What about this year? Well, he said it would fit it, but it might be a bit tasteless doing it that close to the event. He'd rather restrict it to having at least some amount of time passed. Should have just let us do our presentation on older events. Surely he can't expect a class filled with mostly late teenagers to be tactful. I'm assuming that's what the Wednesday classes are for, so he can help us out. I guess. Looking over at the fox, he seems rather fidgety. Really fidgety. It's not like yesterday where he looked really upset. He looks really, really nervous. Everything okay? Huh? Oh, yeah, sorry. I haven't done a group project or a presentation for a long time. How long? I love doing group stuff. Presenting, not so much. Don't get me wrong, I love the attention, just not the talking about school stuff part. The group stuff itself is real fun. Get to hang out with all the bros. And gals, too. He gives Lily a nod. It's almost sickeningly cheesy, but she seems to enjoy it. She has this bright smile on her face and giggles a bit, too. Ah, so he likes everybody! In a group of boys, it takes this long for me to get some attention. Looks like college guys really are more mature. How long is a long time? Normally it happens right when they are... No, I mean for Lucas's group presentations. Oh. For a second, I worry I might have made her upset, but when I look at her, she's got a bit of a smile on her face, and she's silently giggling. I glance over at Lucas, and he's squirming in his seat uncomfortably, trying to avoid looking at any of us. 6, if we don't count this year. Wait, you haven't done one since middle school? Yeah. How? I got homeschooled for most of high school. What about the rest of college? You don't exactly seem like a freshman. I just avoided classes which had them. But not this one. Ah, okay, so Lee's got a deep voice. Lee's deep voice startles me. He's much too quiet for a guy of his presence. He's got a rather curious look on his face, and it's only now I notice he's got a book in front of him, open and jotting down the information for the presentation so far. I think I'm going to do Oscar like how I do Panther Daddy. Yeah, kind of like a... I guess it's kind of like a really deep New York accent? I don't know. I've been to New York a bunch of times. The only other person with anything is Oscar, and he hasn't touched them since I arrived. No one else has anything with them, not even Lily, who organized it. He's very dedicated. I cannot but wonder if he and Lucas switched personalities at birth. One second, guys. Gotta drink some water. Gotta wet my whistle. This was more of a last-minute decision. I just wanted a gen ed class that'll increase my GPA. I didn't think a media communications class would have a presentation or required attendance. None of my other classes have had required attendance. Yeah, classes with group projects kind of have to, or else it screws everyone else over, you know? Lucas deflates and flops down onto the table at that, his chin resting on his arms. At least he's calmed down. He's a lot more talkative than I expected. I mean, he's always standoffish, but he gives me the vibe that he wouldn't talk too much to a group. Then again, he is only complaining, and he's doing that, and he's been doing that from the start. And we're pressuring him. In actuality, I'm just surprised at how expressive he is. So, what exactly are we doing our project on? Well, that's what I was hoping we could decide on. Today, I mean. Might give us a head start for tomorrow. Alright, let me see if I can do this. Did you have any ideas of where we'd start? I'm all for jumping on this, don't get me wrong. I'm just not gonna be a lot of help. I'm not much for watching things that'll kill my vibe. Yeah, I don't avoid news to that degree, but I will admit I can't remember much from last year. I look over at Lee, and the others joining me as well, but he only gives us a shake of his head. Well, there's all the shootings. They're an easy topic. I don't know about that one, bro. Yeah, that's a little too morbid for me. With kids, it's just too sad. Yeah, makes sense. Well, for more local stuff, there's those German tourist twins who drowned in the lake outside the city. That mother of 3 who died in that big pileup on the highway. That Lawson girl's murder-suicide. I recognize that name. Oh, shit! That... that massive scandal where that rich guy, Gregory something, was found to be abusing his wife and kids. Something in there catches my attention and I straighten up my posture. That's rather dark. You know a lot about this. My parents made me watch the news every night where I lived with them and whenever I visited. These are just the memorable ones from the summer break. Sorry, but what's this about a Lawson girl? You don't know, man? Even I know about this one. Yeah, it was pretty big. I shake my head. I'm not familiar either. So a student who was going here for a while suddenly just killed a bunch of her friends. After she got arrested, she killed herself in jail before the night was over. I think I even ran into the guy who died at some point. He was on the football team, but he used the gym here instead of the one near the football field. Yeah, it was my sophomore year here. It was all over the news. My apartment building got locked down and everyone was questioned. Apparently she lived there. Your apartment? Yeah, Unipledge. It's a bit up from campus on Lord Road. Oh, that's where I'm staying. Really? We must have missed each other. I bolted home as soon as I cleaned up. So, she was staying at Unipledge. That definitely makes me feel uneasy. One coincidence was enough, but two is definitely suspicious. Was her name Helena Lawson by any chance? Yeah. Did you know her? I think she lived in my room. I found her diary there. Ears across the table perk up at that. Everyone but Lee is leaning forward with interest now. The possum just looks more confused with all the excitement. Seriously? The police would have taken it, right? For evidence? Where was it? It was hidden under the nightstand. I guess they didn't check under the bottom drawer. How did you find it under the bottom drawer? His eyes keep flickering between me and the others, likely still confused at their enthusiasm, but he's at least joining the conversation again. I went to put my stuff in it and it got stuck. I ended up pulling the whole thing out by accident. Wrecking property on the first day. Maybe you belong in a frat. I can try and pull some strings to get you into mine. The look on his face is full of amusement, and that big grin is back on his face. It's very out of place for this morbid topic, but I think he's just a natural smiler. Even though the offer is a little tempting, I know his intentions aren't entirely pure. At least I think they aren't. Damn, I'm confusing myself now. I didn't break anything. It went back in fine, but I did find your diary. Do you have it on you? Right now, I mean. No, it's on my desk in my apartment. I didn't think I'd need it. Oh no, don't feel bad. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. I just thought it'll be cool if you did. Bring it on Wednesday. Seems like the perfect topic for us. Wouldn't the police want it? I don't want to spoil you kids' fun, but isn't that evidence in a murder? Aren't you a freshman? Pretty sure I'm older than you. Not that I dislike a nickname. I can call you Smiley if you want instead. The kids was more for them anyway. Lee gestures towards Lucas and myself. The fox ignores him and gives a reply to his initial question. Ooh, excuse me, guys. They shut the case. They found a motive and all the information they needed with her dead. There wasn't much need to collect more. That's a fairly cold way to talk about it. What? That she's dead? She killed 3 people? Hard to have sympathy for her. I'd be more likely to sympathize with the dumpster behind my apartment. This seems like a pretty silly thing to be getting into an argument over. How about we rest up on this? Looks like we got an idea down, and we even got a first-hand account from someone involved. There's a gloomy look to her and sadness in her eyes. I understand Lucas having no sympathy for her, but she was a person too, wasn't she? No, I was hoping things could go longer. Didn't really hang out much. Well, I did plan for us to get some food afterwards. That offer's still on the table if you guys want it. Hell yeah, we're all in. Let's go. Wait, meathead. You don't get to decide for all of us. Well, are there any objections from the crowd? Oscar doesn't seem willing to wait, though. He's already getting up and stretching, which makes me conscious at how long I've been sitting down for two. Fine with me. I've got a few hours before my sister will be home from school. Oscar's looking at me expectantly. His deep blue eyes stand out on his brown fur. They're shimmering with so much excitement, it's infectious. Yeah, sure. I think that'll be fun, right? We all look towards Lucas. He's fidgeting with his ears nervously, and I can see Lily giggling next to him, too. She's definitely reveling in the show. Fine, sure, whatever, just know we're too busy, please. His voice cracks at the end, a blush beginning to seep through his fur again. Our eyes meet, and he quickly looks away towards the wall, a pout on his face. It's so silly and adorable. I wouldn't be able to stop myself from smiling even if I wanted to. Yes! Don't worry. I know a cute little place we can go to. Come on, come on. He looks like he's about to drag the rest of us out, so I quickly slip out from my chair as well. Lucas and Lily take a few more seconds to follow. I'm feeling a little unsure about leaving the topic of the diary so soon. There's still stuff I wanted to talk about, but it doesn't seem like the time for it anymore. I shouldn't stress. There's no rush. We can talk about it in class tomorrow. Falling onto my bed, I can't help but let out a long sigh. A happy sigh. My fur is still pretty damp from the shower, but I feel so enveloped in a warmth that it doesn't matter for the moment. Cool air blows through my open window, and the draft feels both soothing and uncomfortable. Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there, guys. Wow, this is getting dark. Man, I am... that sensitive content warning was definitely warranted. This is pretty deep stuff. I'm not sure what direction it's going to go in, but I can imagine that since they've already said it's like a murder-suicide, but it's triple murder-suicide? Like triple murders and one suicide, that it's probably not going to go anywhere cheery. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!